Everything good that happens to Belly in Paris can happen to you without you ever leaving your hometown, and there are some people you date who don't want you to figure that out. But everything that happens in this hotly anticipated finale episode of The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3, we can kind of figure out what's going to happen based on the opening shot in that first outfit. Bulletong scene partners are not just the guys, it's the clothes. Let's hear it for Jessica Flattery, whose costuming is the not so invisible but silent character as well in this show. And maybe you caught that this episode opens and ends with Belly in the same pair of shoes. As we talk about the style and the power that Belly finds in this final episode, I'm just going to warn you, there will be some spoilers all the way up to the final episode. Okay, you've been warned. It's about 2 days ago, the designer Max Mara of this very outfit posted to their social media page. They described their clothes as the wardrobe for women who are writing their own narrative. This is fitting considering the great-grandmother of the founder of Max Mara. Back in 1855, one Marina Rinaldi owned and managed a very prominent workshop. As you can imagine, that was not usual for women back in the day. And to this day, guess what's the first listed commitment of the fashion group? To respect the essence of the women they clothe. We have been praying that Belly would find her essence for the last 4 years. Belly has wanted to go to Paris. She's wanted to improve her French and finish her studies. She's the kind of girl who's wanted to work hard, have adventures, and experience this life. And before we got there, she was with a guy, Jeremiah, who admitted that he knew she would give up those things in order to emotionally prop him up. In her relationship with Jeremiah, Belly was not only shouldering the regular sacrifice and love that comes with loving another person, but also the weight of Jeremiah's inadequacy. By winning Belly, Jeremiah got to feel for the first time like he wasn't a loser compared to Conrad. But this is a losing battle, right? Because you can't make anybody feel adequate enough. So what Belly ends up doing is just backing up more and more and making herself smaller. But the Fisher boys are in the past. Belly has been navigating her own independent free life in Paris for some time now. In that penultimate episode, we watch Belly walk down the street in this same outfit with her signature shoulder-length hair, confident and in control of her choices once more. This is a Belly that's taking up space emotionally, socially, and academically. As that episode ends and teases up for the episode we're going to talk about, the finale, we see Conrad changing his flight from Brussels to Paris. He was on his way for a medical conference, and we see Belly nod her head yes when the salon lady asks her, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Belly sure, Conrad sure, episode ends. We open this episode with Conrad walking up to Belly's apartment and seeing that, Belly is pulling up on a scooter with this guy. She removes her helmet, shakes her hair, and oh my gosh, Conrad realizes the girl has changed. This is not the little girl caught up in the winds of cousins. As she steps away, moments before she even sees Conrad, Conrad gets a chance to witness her. What we love about this outfit is that the camel colors, they're very confident. They don't scream tourist. She doesn't seem like she's trying too hard. She has this like flirty midriff moment going on, but the whole look is very sophisticated and chic. The fact that it's a coordinated set from the same designer also screams, I am pulled together. She is a beautiful American girl in Paris who has metaphorically and literally shed the weight of her past. That's a visual that sets the tone, because for a first time in a long time, Conrad is on Belly's turf. Was Cousins and the beach house a shared place of summer memories? Absolutely, but let's not forget whose house it really was. Benny Hahn and the writers have made it clear over the seasons that there was a significant class difference between the Conklins and the Fishers. The Fishers have a more effortless ease because it's their money, it's their house, it's their decision making. And the Conklins, while close, while basically like family, they were always still guests. Count a number of times Adam Fisher says, "This is my house." Belly has grown up in the Fishers world. Conrad has in the past watched Belly, yes, but as she tried to fit in with the other debutantes. He watched his own mother kind of initially force or strong arm her way into getting Belly to choose the specific kind of stepping out into society debutante dress that she wanted and not the one that Belly initially loved. Conrad watched Belly in various states of being disheveled or desperate, trying to hold together this relationship with Jeremiah and make this wedding happen. Conrad has watched the tragedy of Belly trying to push away her feelings and what she really wants to keep everyone happy. The espadrilles are high-ish, and when Belly walks over, self-assured and confidently, to Conrad, this is a completely different setup. The power is in her hands to extend the welcome to him. He gets to enter her world. He gets to meet her friends. He gets to join in her plans. Poise and this allegiance to herself, it's palpable, and he can also sense there's a detachment from the past drama. What you may have picked up across the seasons is different people telling Belly what she looks good in, and here we finally get this almost montage of her in Paris where she's dressing herself. She looks great. She continues to stun in pre-birthday look after pre-birthday look. As she shows Conrad around Paris, her Paris, he gets to see that she has gone beyond the world of simply inheriting Susanna's secondhand stories or Susanna's suggestions. Suggestions that we find out have been weighing very heavily on Belly's heart for years. There was nothing wrong in all those flashbacks of Susanna trying to broaden Belly's outlook on life. But it has to mean something that Belly has done Paris all by herself. She wasn't packed to go with a trunk of Susanna-approved accessories, wasn't spending Fisher money or borrowing their stuff. And while we see Conrad quietly clocking this confidence, we also have to remember he always believed in this version of Belly. This is the version of her he fought for Jeremiah to try to protect. And when he realized Jeremiah couldn't do it, he confessed his own feelings and his issues with their arrangement. And we also have to note, he respected the space and time it took for Belly to get to this place. He was not inappropriate. The chic Max Mara outfit, it's not about how Belly fits into Paris, it's how she feels and fits into her own skin. It's the embodiment of her emotional freedom and peace, hard-earned. Belly's open with Conrad. This was not an easy time of adjustment for her. She didn't have this romantic waltzing into Paris and everything falling into place. And in this space, Conrad gets the gift of not having to meet Belly on this old turf with all these old expectations. Instead, he gets to see her as she is in her element and also meet with her friends who are quite frank and open to him about questions they have about their past. As the night unfolds, these two, they do find their way back to each other, but they also are hashing out the past, and Belly holds to her own in terms of her clarity and conviction. She's clear about her feelings and she's clear about her fears. This is not a story where Conrad chases Belly down the street and she relents and decides, I'm going to go back home and give it all up. She's not swept off her feet. She pauses at her apartment after they've connected, and she tells him it's probably best if he goes. And it's Belly who decides to get dressed and chase after him when, after she reflects, realizes she wants Conrad on her own terms. Belly does choose to run to Conrad, but only after she's practiced running towards her own life. It is her choice to choose Conrad for this lifetime and the next. And she doesn't drop everything and leave Paris. We see in the end, with all those many Christmas photos, that she remains in Paris and retains a connection to him. She does not hand over her life as easily this time. She does freely and truly choose to give her heart, and also respect that Conrad is doing his own thing in California. This episode ends with Belly and Conrad hand in hand walking back into that beach house, but on her own time and with her own peace. And what shoes is she wearing? The same one she wore on the eve of her 22nd birthday and on the night she decided to choose Conrad for herself. This scene has no dialogue, but the shoes are doing a lot of talking. Belly is wearing something that she picked out on her own in Paris in her new life. It's an external sign of something that she brought internally back with her from Paris, which is the sense of confidence in herself and her own decisions. Being in Cousins, being back in America, now it can't rattle who she is. But that exact confidence, this experience that Belly has had in Paris, it is something that is criticized because people look at it and they think it's selfish. I think it's really easy for people to criticize young single women who take time to figure out who they are and what they want to do and what they want their hard work and sacrifice to actually go towards, because we tend to not really respect the cost of something that we didn't pay for, the freedom to even be able to do this. But that's something that the demographic that made this show as popular as it is, women above 25, that's a cost that they know. They know that where Belly started and where Belly ends, it's not just a fictional story. It's a story that's true for many other women. Enabling others at the expense of your body and soul, it's crushing. And it robs everybody of the opportunity to be who they're meant to be. And when we step back, we could see that the story that Jeremiah was writing for the two of them was actually the more selfish one. You're not an object. And the problem that some people will find when you love your life and you really do have respect for yourself is that you're just a lot harder to use and control. We don't know what's next for Belly. But we know this, she's ready.